this has got to be one of the biggest audience I think we've ever had. There's like 6,400 of you in this room. Yeah, which is huge. And apparently there's an overflow room. So I want to try this. If you're in the overflow room, scream and we're going to see if we can hear you. No? So welcome to Blackjack. This is our largest ever, as you suspected. And it's also a new floor plan. So if you were here last year, you're going to notice some changes. We put all the business hall downstairs, and on 2 and 3, you've got all the content, you've got the arsenal, you've got the career track, and then you're also going to have the Pony Awards up here later on this evening. And so for those of you who've been here before, I generally do some statistics, and I'm going to just throw out some numbers to give us an idea of what's going on this year. One of them is we give out scholarships to students who write white papers on security topics, and we get the submissions and we review them, and we accept. There's no cap on how many we accept. We only accept the ones that we think are interesting and some energy and some effort's been put into it. And this year we accepted 194 scholarships from students, which is a record number. So if you're a student here and you got a scholarship, raise your hand. Okay, so look around. If you see that, go up and congratulate them for doing it and kind of help them into the Black Hat world. We also have 108 different countries of the world represented here. And I used to read them all off, but the number's gotten so large I could be up here for a while. There's 28 countries that have sent a single person. And I'm just going to name a couple of the Aland Islands, America Samoa, Macau, Kenya, Jordan, Iran, Yemen, Wales, Venezuela, Uruguay. Was that Uruguay? Yeah. Excellent. Uruguay could probably use some security. So last year, this is also the biggest year, I think, for us in a number of reasons. I think we've got the most attention, the most eyeballs on us this year for a number of reasons. One is it's an election year. There's a lot of things going on with security around the elections. We had the OPM breach. We had a lot of businesses are focused more on this. They realize that their exposure. We also have a lot of legal attention, from the CFAA to the Wassenaar arrangement. And so you have people in legal and policy areas asking us for advice. What does it mean? I'm really proud that it was the security researchers and the hackers that pointed out the problem with the Wassenaar arrangement. And then companies like Microsoft and Symantec kind of carried the ball. But it was us, it was our community that pointed out the problem. And so that shows that we have a vital role to play in this area. And then also now it seems like 2000s all over again, popular portrayals of hackers in TV and movies, right? We've got Mr. Robot. Apparently there's a new Jason Bourne movie which is like DEF CON, but it's ExoCon. So we're back in the public eye. So it's really important that we take advantage of that, right? It's an opportunity and a curse. We can either really screw it up, or we can really be useful and become trusted and be used in all these new conversations. And last year I talked about complexity and how complexity is forever. How are we ever going to get off the complexity curve? And the only solution I saw was radical simplicity. So this year I want to talk about speed. Speed, sort of a corollary to complexity. And there's technical speed, right? We're trying to move faster than the bad guys, compostable systems. How fast can we spin up a new deployment? If we were attacked, how fast can we react? Facebook with their app. How many people notice how fast that Facebook app is getting updated all the time? By about the time you reverse engineer that app, they probably have a new version out. Right? They're trying to stay one step ahead through speed as one of the strategies. Speed is also something that business people love because you can measure it. How long did it actually take? It wasn't a metric like how many times are we attacked, because you can't control that metric, but you can control speed. One of the biggest metrics I noticed across all companies now is time to remediate. When you notice a breach, now you might have been owned for like a year, But when you notice that you were breached, how long until you think you've cleaned up? Is it a week? Is it 5 days, 4 days? Really aggressive companies are like around the 2-day mark. Really slow companies are, in the weeks. But it's a metric you can measure, and it's something that CEOs like because it goes on a dashboard. And so think about how you can use speed to measure what you're doing, and it's great to give incentives. Well, from the time we're notified there's a vulnerability in our production web server to the time we can report that it's closed, that's time. Let's measure it, and let's give rewards if we can find ways to shrink it. It must be like that at Google. It's like shave a nanosecond off of some query, and you get a car. You could incentivize people around speed. And I was at the CEO event. I was lucky enough to be invited to the CEO event that had the world's largest companies there, and I was speaking on security, and I was at the end of the day. So I sat around like a fly on the wall, and I listened to what all the CEOs and CIOs of these companies were talking about. And I expected it would be something like regulation, unions, problems with supply chain management, concern about third-party risk and vendors. No. Every single CEO and CIO said speed was their biggest concern. It was speed to market. Speed to reconfigure their enterprise network to be able to better reflect like a mobile environment. Speed to produce products. Speed to react to attacks. It was speed. And I was stunned because I figured, yeah, speed will be in there somewhere. But it's at the top of the list of the largest companies. So, if you're trying to sell to these people, if you're trying to speak their language, you want to put speed into your dictionary because that's what they're thinking about. And I use speed and race cars as sort of an analogy. You put really big brakes on a race car so the race car can go faster, right? So think of security as we're the big brakes for the race car. We allow companies to take more risk. If a company can take more risk confidently, they can go faster. They can go into markets they might not go into. Imagine if you went to your CEO and you said, you know what, I'm so confident we can remotely deploy people into China. Right? That's a competitive advantage for some people. And so you could get a speed advantage through confidence in your security. And finally, it really helps that what Dan, our keynote speaker, is going to be speaking about, one of his themes is simplicity. And I think if you think about the complexity, speed, and the advantages of simplicity, you'll start to see that there's a framework we can use to approach these issues, right? They're not insurmountable. We have strategies. We can do this. But it's important that we don't get distracted along the way.